Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're watching Morning Live on the 16th day of June 2023. Now we've got a very interesting conversation that we are just about to have this morning. An issue to do with teenage pregnancies as well as teenage moms. How do we incorporate them back to society after going through the pregnancy period? What can we do more to help Kenya overcome this? Now I'd love to give a quick statistics just before we get into the conversation and introduce my guest this morning. Teenage pregnancy and motherhood stands at 18% in Kenya, which means 1 in every 5 girls between the ages of 15 and 19 years is expectant. Now in 2017, Kenya recorded the highest number of teenage pregnancies at 67,000 out of a possible 317,000 pregnancies across the country. Now this is the most disturbing perhaps. Kenya is ranked 3rd across the world in teen pregnancies, which means out of more than 100 countries across the world, Kenya is number 3 in terms of teenage pregnancies, or the numbers of teenage pregnancies that we record. And then finally, a very important point on the return to school policy in Kenya in 1994, under the then President Daniel Arap Moi, Kenya introduced the return to school policy for teen moms. Now the reason I'm mentioning this is because sometime in 2022, after the death of Tanzanian President John Pombe Magufuli, the president now, Samia Suluhu Hassan, announced a return to school policy for teenage moms. So these are the conversations that we shall be having this morning, guided by these statistics. Now I'm joined by Habiba Juma, who is the founder of Soraya organization, an organization that nurtures teen moms and females in the country. Thank you so much, Habiba, for your time this morning. Yes, I'd love us to really get started on just what Soraya organization is all about, and where did this all start? What really pushed you to start this kind of organization?
First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for this opportunity. It's a privilege for me to be here, and I'm really not taking it for granted.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And by starting, let me explain briefly about the word Soraya.
Yeah.
And give you a story of where we started and where we are.
Yeah.
So Soraya basically means it's an Arabic name that describes sunflower, and the quality of sunflower simply describe how a woman is, her strength, her uniqueness, her brightness, her beauty, and everything.
Yes.
That's why we chose the word Soraya, nurturing teen moms and females.
Yeah.
And Soraya started way back in 2020 when COVID-19 started affecting the country, and there was so much cases of teenage pregnancy, girls dropping out of school, either caused by boda guys, or they're just maybe they're lied, maybe the guys are giving them.
Just a minute, if you could just put your mic up a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Yes. Go on.
Okay. So by that time, we started by doing food program. With the food program, we did it in Kibera while doing research on where exactly we can start tackling this case. So we did food program for quite some time, as at the same time we're doing research about the teenage pregnancy cases. Then laterwards, we started recruiting girls for our program, whereby we initially started our program in Mathare, and we work with 30 teen moms and a number of girls who are in school. So the idea was, at the same time we're trying to nurture the teen moms to be accepted back to the community and try to change their lives. We tried also to work with girls who are in school to prevent the cases of teenage pregnancy. And we were lucky, they went through the 6 months intensive program, whereby they went through personal development. It's the first stage of our training. They get to learn about themselves, understand themselves, and they be self-aware of what they're doing, the environment, and how they can tackle issues around them. Then after that, they go through entrepreneurship. whereby they learn how to do business, not only business, also personal finance. If at all they get maybe 500, they know how to use it, how to balance it, either to save it. A percentage of it goes to the saving, and a percentage of it goes to maybe buying food and doing something a little for the kids.
If I got this right, your organization does not just focus on one particular issue, but so many more issues.
Yeah.
And I'm very much interested, you said you started the organization in 2020, and particularly 2020 was such a year that, you know, there was COVID, you're locked at home, not going to school, you're, you know, basically restricted to a particular area, and that was the point where we saw a lot of teenage pregnancies as well as cases of gender-based violence. And if you look really at the figures, despite the fact that 2020 we were under lockdown, but that particular year about 18% of, you know, all pregnancies across the country you know, was related to teenage or young women. And so my question really is it because you know, you're actually on the ground that you're able to realize now this is a big problem, contrary to someone who perhaps just sees it on the news or reads it on the news, but never really goes to these locations where a lot of teenage have fallen victim to this particular kind of menace?
Actually, it's more of a personal story, whereby when I was in high school and primary, some of my friends got to drop out of school due to teenage pregnancy, and it's a story that really affected me. When it happened to someone so close to me, the way the whole situation was really affecting her being neglected by the family, forced into early marriage and everything, and due to all that, they faced a lot of rejection from the community, from family. So she was facing a lot of rejection, and I was the only friend and person who was so close to her, understood her. So I felt like if I can do this to someone I know, the program, if I start a program like this, I'll be able to touch a lot of lives and also help a lot of teenage girls in our country. And by that time, when I stood up and I said, this is what I want to do, I approached my best friend, and we started doing the research and everything. Then we started the initiative until now.
So 2 years later, what are the numbers looking like for your organization? How many girls have you been able to interact with? How many girls have you been able to help through this program 2 years later?
So it has been more than 100, because we not only do the training program, we also do community awareness with other organizations, whereby we assemble them maybe in a hall, then we take them through a short training of how they can use contraceptive, and of how they can protect themselves and how they can take care of their kids. We do other activities that also involve other women in the community, not only the teenage moms.
And you know, you've actually mentioned a very important point on contraceptives. This day and era, there are still parents who are scared of speaking to their children about sex education, which is so important, because you have an adolescent at home who goes to high school, is above 13 years, interacts with so many people from different backgrounds, but you're still not willing to open up about sex education, what it is, what they need to know, the dangers of it. Isn't that something that as a society we need to be changing?
I believe so, yes, because I know it's a norm in Africa, whereby parents are not comfortable to talk about maybe sexual intercourse with their kids. It's a norm, but we can change our mentality by trying to mold them when they're still young, so that when they get to that age of puberty, where they are very sexually aroused, they know how to go about it and they know how to protect themselves. So I think the first training should start with the parents, then with the teachers and school, then with the community at large.
So how have the parents been receptive to the organizations? You've said you've worked with over 100 girls, and a majority of these girls, you know, are still under the care of their parents. How has the reception been like? How is the interaction with the organization and the parents?
The main thing of this initiative, it's not only to empower the teenage moms to come out of their comfort zone and try and do something for their lives. We're also trying to rebuild relationship, whereby we know in Africa, if a girl gets pregnant before finishing school, 100% chances are she will be chased away from home. Yes. Or she'll be forced into early marriage. And relationship between the girl and the parent, either the father or the mother, usually breaks. So what we do, we usually try to involve the parents before the girls start coming for our training. We involve them and we tell them this is what you're going to do. So every time before our session, we usually call them 2 days before, and we have their parents' number, just to also show their parents that your child has they have another opportunity to rebuild, to redeem themselves, and to prove that they are worthy of your love, and this is just a mistake and they are not willing to do it again. Please hold their hand and support them. So they usually support them. Even when we graduate, we invite them. Some of them come and see how their girls are doing, and also get to celebrate with them their small achievement from our program.
Have there been instances where you know, there's a girl you've taken in, the parents you know, are not really responding well to what the organization is doing? Have you had situations where the parents are the biggest I'd say negative critics to the organization?
Yes, one. There's this parent, when I was doing recruitment, she was like, mtakuwa mnawapatia pesa kila siku, ama mtakuwa mnawapatia unga. Then I tried to explain to her that these are just, I know they are very essential things that we need because our situation in our country right now, but whatever we're trying to give them, it's the skills that they can be confident to apply for a job, take internship, and it's something that you can't show, you can't touch it, but you can show that you have the skills. And I gave her an example. Nikiwa mvuvi, siwezi kuletea samaki kila siku. Nikikuletea, kuna siku maybe naweza kuwa mgonjwa, nitashindwa kuletea samaki, but nikikufundisha kuvua, hata kesho nikikuwa mgonjwa, wewe mwenyewe utachukua boat na net uende ukajivulie samaki.
You know, I'm looking at a scenario where there's a young girl who is expecting, and she's having to go into seclusion or hiding, for lack of a better word, and the parents are supporting this. You know, in that kind of situation where the parent does not want the child to engage with others, the child is sort of scared to approach organizations like yours. In that kind of scenario, what do you do now?
So we usually use their fellow teenage moms. You know, once you're connected to one teenage mom, she will give you a connection to another several teenage moms, and the one who has gone through our program will be in a better position to explain to her what we're trying to do, and also try to show her the importance of this. Then afterwards, maybe I can join in to talk to her more about our program, and I usually go with an open mentality, whereby we don't judge. It's a mistake you've done, and you still have another way of redeeming yourself, trying to change your situation, and you can emerge victory. And the conversation usually goes well, and they get to join the program.
Now, I'm also looking at how long the program takes. Is it that, you know, as an expectant teenage mother, she will join the program, then post-birth she will leave the program? How does the program work? Is it something that, you know, it's lifetime or short term?
So the program goes for 6 months. And for the 6 months, we usually meet only on Saturday. This is due to lack of space, because we usually rent out space, and the spaces that we renting out, they only give us only on weekend Saturdays.
Yes.
So we usually meet only on Saturdays for 6 months, from morning till afternoon.
Yes.
From around 3 or 2, depending with the activities of the day. So we usually give them at least Monday to Friday. Go do your hustle. Then on this day, just dedicate your time to change your life by learning new things that might be beneficial to you. So it goes for 6 months. Then after 6 months, we recruit another group. But once they're done with the training, we usually try to outsource opportunity to connect them. We have not secured one yet. We're in the process of securing one, but we calling upon maybe different stakeholders who can give the girls opportunity to do attachment in their institute, because whatever the skills you're giving them, they're very intense, and we believe in them, because you can actually see the difference from the day they're walking in and from the day they're leaving. First, they gain courage. They can speak in front of people. They have different features compared to when they came or joined the program the first time.
When you talk about outsourcing opportunities, I know you've mentioned about looking for internship for these young girls, but what if they're not looking for internship? What other opportunities would you be out there looking for them?
So from our program, what we usually do, first during the program, we usually fundraise. We provide them at least food stock, maybe once in 2 months or once in a month, depending with what we've been able to secure, because we don't have like funds coming in. This is us, our team, trying to volunteer and also contribute a little bit from our daily hustle to ensure that we provide for the girls, and they completely understand that. So during the program, we try to provide them with food stock, and also we try to fundraise maybe for clothes donation to give them. And with the clothes, when we give them, the ones that fit them, they take it, and the ones that do not fit them, we usually advise them to sell so that they can get something out of it to be able to provide maybe milk or pampers for their kids. Then after our program, we also outsource for funds and try to see if we can maybe give them capital to start their business, because during the program, they have passion in different areas. Some of them are into business, they want to start a business. Some of them are into maybe connect me to other organization to expound my skills, and some of them they're interested into maybe going for internship just to learn more things on the background.
Also, looking at just some of the statistics, it says in 2022 the rate of teenage pregnancies declined by 15%. Is that something that you can actually relate to your organizations? Less and lesser girls joining the organizations. Is that decline something that you can also relate to in the organization?
Yes, because at the same time you're doing this, some of them are not willing to maybe change, and some of them they have fixed mindset. So when in our program, we usually take at least 30 months, and from the time that we graduate, you can find maybe 2 or 3 who have dropped out, maybe because they're not patient enough to go through the whole process. But I can confidently say that 90% of the girls we recruit in our program gets to finish our training.
The training.
Yeah.
Also, talk talk about the fathers of these children who are to be born. You know, there's a teenage girl, you know, definitely, you know, was into the sexual intercourse with somebody. What about these gentlemen? I mean, are they part of the organization? Some of them, do they come to see what is happening?
I can give observation from the previous cohort that we did. We graduated last year. When they were graduating, some of the guys who got them pregnant came to support them during the graduation. Some guys are supportive. Some of them they have not been rejected with the guys. Some of them are supported, and most of them guys have denied the pregnancy. Yeah. So what we trying to do, especially in this cohort, we are planning to do more community aware programs, whereby we involve even the guys in our program to see what we're doing, and also get to hear how the girls are suffering in case they decline, or in case they are not getting the support, how the situation that they are putting the girls to go through.
About these fathers, you know, what is this age group? Are they also the teenagers themselves, you know, or you look at an instance where it's just an adult? In that instance, you know, it will be something that they violated the constitution. But these fathers, majority of them also teenagers.
Majority of them are not teenagers. They're a bit old, and maybe a small percentage of it are teenagers. Because our age, the age that we usually focus onboarding to our program are teen moms from 18 and below, and young mothers from 23 to 18.
Yeah, you've also the young mothers, 23 and below, yes. As much as we're focusing on teenage pregnancy, there are also those first-time moms, very young, and you know, they've been put in this situation, perhaps they were never ready. Is the handling of these two groups different? How you handle this teenage mom, is it different from how you'll handle this young mom?
Yes, because the experience are not quite the same. But what we usually do, we give them a safe space whereby for these young mothers, they have a little experience. They can exchange ideas with the smaller ones, and they get to interact and learn. So there's no big difference to that, because they are all learning from each other.
Now let's talk about some of the geographical location. Look at Samburu, the highest rate of teenage pregnancies at 50%, West Pokot 36%, Marsabit 29%, Narok 28%, and there's sort of a similarity. They're just this particular group of people, perhaps the minority groups. Look at Samburu, West Pokot, Marsabit, Narok. Does the location also play a factor to teenage pregnancies, or to the number of teen moms that you record? Because, you know, where your organization is based at, there could be, you know, allocations around it, right? It could be a slum, or it could be a place where there's no much civic education around the area. So does the location also play a part to the number of moms that you take in?
Yes, it does play a part, because right now our focus is in Mathare and Kibera, where we're doing our program, where the current cohort is going on. And these are slums, and in the slums they have different notion. But in Mathare, our previous cohort, it's a mixture of not only girls in the slums, but also girls maybe in estate have joined the program. So also the environment matters. For example, Samburu, Marsabit, these are areas where they don't have enough facility, like mentorship session, just to help them be aware of the environment and of their action and everything. There's no maybe a lot of activities like these ones there. That's why I can say maybe they're not fully aware, or they're not well equipped. That's why our future in our future plan, we not only want to do this program in Nairobi, we also want to expand it and maybe relocate in different areas such as Marsabit, Samburu, whereby in also looking at the research that has been done, these are areas that has high number of cases of teenage pregnancy, and we really want to extend our program into those areas because we believe the girls there will be impacted so well.
There are also other, issues that play a factor, like wealth as well as education. Now on civic education, yes, we have biology classes in school. You'll have, teachers who will tell you one or two things in school. But what about out here? What should be the conversations amongst teenagers? Because sometimes it could be peer pressure or the influence from another person. What should these conversations be like amongst the teens, among themselves out here?
So out here mostly it's peer pressure and also status. And not only that, there are also factors that are very intense that triggers that. Maybe their parents don't have enough fee to pay for them to maybe continue with high school. They get idle and they end up getting pregnant, and the chance is usually closed like that. And also some of them maybe come from orphans family. They get to be mistreated by the other members, and they get to run away from home. We have those cases. So it's not only peer pressure. There is also very intense factors that contributes to that.
So I'd love us to take a quick break, but when we come back, there's the question on just how active should the war be against teenage pregnancies. What can Cynthia do? What can those at home do to ensure that you have a neighbor who is a teenager? What role do you play in giving them that education of what they need to know about sex education, and also why it is harmful to them at that particular age? So that conversation continues after the break. Stay with us.
From Nairobi, Kenya, this is EBN TV.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe, watazamaji wa EBN. Kwa majina naitwa Pastor Julius Mutuko, na nataka kukaribisha kwa kipindi ambacho tutakuwa tukisikiliza neno la Mungu kila siku ya Ijumaa na Jumamosi, kuanzia saa 3:30 jioni hadi saa 4:30 kila siku kwa lisali moja. Na hivyo tukiangazia true worship ama kuabudu halisi, ambapo tukiangalia Biblia kitabu cha Yohana 4:23-24, Yesu alipokuwa akiongea na mwanamke Msamaria, alimwambia wakati unakuja ambapo watu watamwabudu Baba katika roho na kweli. Kwa maana Baba ni roho, ama Mungu ni roho, na yuwatafuta watu kama hao ili wakamwabudu. So jo nami tukaweze kujua kuabudu halisi ni nini kwa siku hizo. Karibuni nyote in Jesus name. Asanteni.
With great love and joy, I specially welcome you to worship with us at Redeemed Gospel Church Buruburu. This is a true family church, a true spiritual home. Redeemed Gospel Church Buruburu is home to exuberant prayers, deep and true worship. A house of prayer that will leave you feeling refreshed. Our first service starts at 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. and our second service starts at 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Wednesdays, we have our midweek service from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and every Friday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. we have our night of glory. This is the church you have been looking for. This is the place for your spiritual growth and maturity. See you this Sunday and karibu sana.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Morning Live. Quite an interesting conversation on nurturing teen moms and females. What role have you played in ensuring that you give civic education as much as you can to teenagers around you? Are they aware of the dangers of engaging in early sexual, issues? And so that is the conversation that we are having this morning. Now, my guest is still in studio with me, Habiba Juma, who is the founder of Soraya Organization, an organization that nurtures teen moms and females. Now, before the break, I talked about the war on teenage pregnancies and just what we need to do, because the organization is doing so well to give these children a chance after it has happened. But how do we prevent it from happening?
Okay, so our way of preventing it from happening, it's by working with girls who are still in school, doing mentorship to them, just to tell them how they need to behave or be, and also get to tell them the consequences of them getting pregnant before they finish school, and also they get to interact with the teenage mothers who have actually experienced it, to give them the first-hand information and the experience so that they can be aware of their consequences and how it can impact their life. By doing that, we've really tried to empower them, and some of them are very interested, like in the group that we worked with in Mathare. Some of them usually even trying to reach out till date, trying to ask if we can still do the same program with them, because they're really gaining a lot. Not only telling them about teenage pregnancy, we also try to empower them on the importance of finishing study, education, and how they can prevent themselves with anything that are not only pregnancy but also drugs that can prevent them from finishing school.
Now, as adults, it might be difficult to have that conversation with somebody who is not your relative, just a normal teenager, and it's an adolescent age. Basically, they want to be right. Whatever they do is right. Whatever they say, it just has to be it. So, I mean, it's me now, Cynthia. How do I approach a teenager to start this conversation with them? Because they might feel, ananikujia hivyo. So, what would you tell somebody like me? How do I approach a teenager and start telling them about this civic education on teenage pregnancy, why it's dangerous, why they need to keep off any matters to do with sexual intercourse?
I think it should start, for example, if it's you, it should start with you. Your personality will speak a lot. If, for example, I'm a student, and we know our culture, and we know we are from Africa, yes. Huwezi kuja kuni approach if you're very serious, and you're trying to be very strict. Definitely sitakusikia. First, you need to be friendly, understanding, and not judgmental, whereby you give them room to hear their view, to hear what they think and what they feel, without judging them. Just give them a chance to speak out, fill the space, take one of the space and everything. Then laterwards, try to now let your way of empowering them comes in, whereby first they'll feel very safe around you if you're understanding them and you're not judging them and you're not controlling. They'll feel very safe around you, and building that rapport of communication and friendship. They'll be also very comfortable sharing with you anything, and with that you'll earn their trust. Even when you try and talk to them about something, or you're trying to warn them something, they'll listen. Also, the way you're trying to talk to them really matters. You can't talk to this edge when your voice is very high or you're too commanding. They won't listen. You need to be in their shoes for them to be able to understand you. Really matters a lot.
It's all in the approach, how to approach this group, because everyone remembers the adolescent time, and just how much we are all over the place. We don't want to sit down, we want to go out, we want to do this and that. So it's all in the approach. And some children have attitude, they're just naturally, they don't know how to socialize, they just love to be on their own. These particular special cases, how do you approach that? Is it the same way?
We've had this quite a number of times. What we usually do, even with our program, even with the program we do with girls who are in school, we usually start with personal development. This is very crucial in our program, because with personal development they become aware, they become aware of themselves, the environment and everything around them. And with this there is a lot of components that we usually tackle, in a way that even after doing this session, at the end of it, if you identify, for example, one student who is maybe neglecting herself from a group or to mingle with the rest, they'll get a different understanding of the environment, and by the time you're finishing this, you'll be able to see how she's interacting with the other team, and also how bold she's turning to be, and also they'll be even courageous to speak in front of people. So that is our very core course that we usually do.
Now after they're expectant, they've given birth, the 6 months program perhaps it's over, and now they have to go back to their lives. It can be so difficult, especially if you're used to being around a particular group of people, you've gone through the same issues, they're nurturing you in some way, and now they have to go back to their lives. So how do you ensure that the back to normalcy is quite smooth, so that they don't have any problems of maybe feeling embarrassed or feeling out of place?
Again, I'll stick with the personal development. For example, some girls, when they join the program, after maybe getting pregnant, they usually very low, they don't have self-confidence, they're doubting themselves. But going through this first phase of the program, it usually transforms them, whereby you can see how they've gained courage even to interact with others, to talk to others, and they're not ashamed to speak if they feel something is not okay. They're confident to speak their mind without having the feeling of judgment, and that is quite important, because even when they go back to the community, we usually tell them it's a mistake that happened, but that does not define you. Whatever defines you, it's what you're aiming to get or to achieve at the end of this. Look at yourself maybe in 5 years time. Do you think the person you are right now is the same person you'll be in the next 5 years? And if you're not the same person, then whatever comes out in your surrounding should not define you, should not give you any self-doubt. Focus on whatever you're aiming, maybe in the near future. And with such trainings, it opens their mind to see things in a different dimension. And even when they go back to the community, the feeling of being judged is not, it's no longer there. They mingle, they're free to share their opinion, they're not scared, and we usually keep track of what of how they're progressing by having a WhatsApp group whereby we all communicate there. In case of maybe opportunity that arises, we share there, we keep in touch, we chat, and we also view status, we talk, like we keep the communication going so that we cannot lose track of them, and also we help them not to do the same mistake maybe again.
Yeah, and I love that, keeping track, post the program doesn't mean that, now you're okay, now you can go back, because sometimes, the trend might repeat itself and then they go back to where they were. So I'd love to talk about now Soraya. What are the biggest challenges that the Soraya organization has, keeps experiencing over and over again?
So our main big challenge is first, like I said earlier, where we're doing our training, it's usually a rent out space from other initiatives that are giving us only on that day to do our training. And we feel that we have quite a lot of things to share with them. And if we have our own space to train from Monday to maybe Friday or Saturday, maybe from morning, even from morning to 4 or morning to 1, we'll be able to tackle a lot of things and also get to give them a lot of skills that they'll be even times 10 more confident from the skills that they got earlier during the 1 sessions a week. That's our main biggest challenge, and also paying for the space also is a big challenge, because for example, when I don't have money, I keep the rent piling, then I figure out how I can pay it later. Or for example, when my teammates are not for example, when my team members are not financially maybe okay, they cannot be able to help at that time, it's a bit it's quite challenging, because I need to figure out how what to do in order to settle these bills, because we really need the space. Without the space, we won't be able to do our other activity. Aside from the space, after doing this program, we usually want to take our girls outside their comfort zone, whereby we connect them to different opportunities. For example, internship. That's why we saw into internship, for them to expound their skills, get to exercise what we've taught them in a real world, whereby there is a real job out there. They get to make use of their skills. We wish to have different opportunities to connect them to expound their skills. And for those who are into business, we also wish to have maybe well-wishers who would like to fund their business idea, because from our program, we not only focus on giving them the skills, then leave them. If we are able to provide them the business capital, we have a book that we're working on to create. For example, if we give one of the student business capital, this is how we are going to track it track it till end. We're not requesting for business capital, we give them, then it's like that. We want to work with them, make sure that they're really doing the business well and they're improving themselves. At the same time they're doing the business. Other than the business, we also call out other initiatives that have more intensive skills than us, to allow us to work with them to take our girls and also expand their skills in those areas. And also any well-wisher who wish to support our program by helping us. Even you see, the team that I'm working with, they're doing it purely voluntary. And my wish is maybe in the next coming years I'll be able to maybe give them transport or stipend reimbursement, something like that, to also give them the morale of working with us, and also give them the morale of supporting the girls. Yes, I know they're fully into the program, but you can see the situation right now. If you can support your team with something small, they'll be able even to to do something better than that. Yeah.
Yeah, and finances actually are the biggest challenge, particularly with this kind of economy, because I'm looking at a scenario where the girls are coming in on Saturday for the program. They'll be there from morning till afternoon. They need to take something. They just need to money is really needed. That's what I can say. Money is really needed. And it can be so stressing for you and other organizers to do this. So how do you keep going? How often do you get well-wishers who come in? Have you tried to approach non-governmental organizations, government organizations? What is the feedback like out there?
Okay, we've tried to apply some funding. We brought some proposal. Unfortunately, we have not got one yet, but we're not giving up yet. We still try, and our support usually comes from friends who see what we do and believe in what we do, and through those friends they talk to even their friends who comes in and contribute something a little. If you get a friend who comes in and give you 5,000 will be able to cater maybe breakfast or snacks for the training, or the 5,000 will be able to support in paying for the space. And sometimes when you don't have this, it's quite stressful, because when the girls come for training, you can't keep someone from morning till afternoon without giving them something. Even if you're trying to teach them, you can't teach an empty stomach. You need to buy something. So at times when, for example, I'm not well financially, and even my team, we buy something small, like maybe one banana each or one biscuit each. If we have money, we prepare tea and bread for them. Maybe during the break time they go eat, then they come back energized and well focused to continue the program.
Yeah, and as we wind up this conversation, because I know we're out of time, what are the future plans for Sorai organization, the next few months, few years? If you look at the vision that you have, where do you want to be at that point?
Where we want to be in the next, for example, let me say with first this year, we're looking forward to at least graduate 60 teen moms, because we're doing training in Kibra and Mathare, and we've outsourced 30 teen moms who are going through the training in Kibera and Mathare, so that is a total of 60. So we're looking forward to graduate 60 teen moms this year, and also involve their parents through the program and do a wonderful graduation for them. And before that, before continuing, first I want to appreciate Bishop Margaret Church. They've supported us by giving us space to use for our activity. For example, even our launching event we did there. We appreciate them, and we're looking forward to do even graduation for this year there. And we're hoping to invite their parents to also come and feel happy and rejoice for the little hard work their kids have tried to put up. And also another one, we wish to expand this program not only in Nairobi, but we want to even channel mostly in different parts of Nairobi, like Korogocho, Kariobangi, where there is also cases of teenage pregnancy, and also outside Nairobi in places like Garissa, there's also quite a number of teenage pregnancy cases. Our future plan is maybe in the next 3 years to come, not only to work in Nairobi, but also to extend this program outside Nairobi and onboard different members to join our team in doing this movement. Aside from this, we wish also in the near future to give a lot of our teen moms business capital to start their business, to be able to sustain themselves and also provide for their kids. Aside from that, in our future plans, we want to connect more of teen moms to job opportunities, even if it's not exactly job opportunities, but internship for them to grow their skills and so on.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Habiba Juma, the founder of Soraya Organization, an organization that nurtures teen moms and females. Thank you for your time this morning to just, expound more on what we need to do, what your organization is doing. And you failed to also mention about many more organizations that you're working with as well.
In Kibera, I work with Awoche Foundation. We work in recruiting the girls to our program. I also work with Superb. I'm doing community awareness activities. Aside from that, I work also with the Watoto Watch Network. They deal with online safety for kids, so they provide online safety trainings for girls in schools. And also they help maybe in training our girls on how they can address themselves, for example, if they're in an internet or an internet space. And I also work with KGS, Keeping a Girl in School. They help in giving us sanitary towels for our girls, and we also work with them in other activities. We work with a lot of organizations, and I can say teamwork is very important, and without them and without us, we won't be doing this in our community. And also I appreciate so much my team, the likes of Fauzia, Omar, my co-founder, our very best trainer, entrepreneurship trainer, Maureen Mora, our team members, Elina, and other team members who have done amazing work for the organization, just to make sure that our girls are getting whatever they need, and us doing whatever we have to do to make sure their lives are changing. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Habiba, once again for coming over to shed more on this. The Soraya organization that works on nurturing teen moms and females, and that is the conversation that we have been having today. And I just repeat these statistics because they're so dire that you need to know. 1 in every 5 teenage girls between 15 to 19 years of age is expectant. In 2017, Kenya recorded the highest number of teenage pregnancies at 67,000 adolescent pregnancies out of 317,000 pregnancies recorded that year. Now, Kenya is ranked 3rd worldwide in teen pregnancies. And of course, in 1994, Kenya introduced the return to school policy for teen moms, where they, after they have gone through the birth process, they can now go back to school to continue with their studies. So it's a question of what are you doing to support civic education, sex education amongst teenagers, whether it's your sister, your relative, your cousin. What are you doing to ensure that we know we are able to curb this problem as much as we can from the littlest of levels, or from your houses all the way before it gets to organizations such as Soraya. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for your feedback that has been coming in through our social media platforms as well as our SMS line. And that is where we want to wrap up our broadcast this morning. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Do enjoy the rest of your programming. Thank you so much. Thank you.